9 out of every 10 restaurants fail, but that doesn't mean you won't be successful. We're on location here in Brookline, Massachusetts with Andrew Wiener, who founded Catering by Andrew 30 years ago. Welcome to the language of business.
Thank you, Greg.
Your name is on the door as Catering by Andrew. Do you manage differently since it's your likeness?
Yes, we manage our business much differently than a company that doesn't have a person's name on the door. At the end of the day, it's my name on there. Everything that happens. We have a large team of close to 100 people working here. However, it's my name.
Is this your first catering company?
This is my first catering company. We started this as an offshoot of my father's restaurant, which was very interesting. Approximately 40 years ago, 38 years ago, he opened a restaurant here in Brookline, broke every business rule out there, had no experience in food service, was a computer programmer. And he opened the first kosher dairy restaurant in Boston, pizza, falafel, and it grew. And we grew from there.
Did you give any thought to using your name as opposed to the name of someone else, like in the case of Wendy's when it was named after his daughter?
We picked the name Catering by Andrew literally as we were doing our first event. We needed a name, and I believe my mother said, hey, use the name Catering by Andrew. Sounded good. But it's funny when you go back, people now expect to see Andrew. I mean, unlike a big corporation, Wendy's, you're not looking to speak to Wendy. It's funny, I remember growing up here in Boston, my grandfather had a store, a little market, who worked with us here in our business actually until 7 years ago, to a very ripe old age. And his name of his store was Sandy's Superette, named after his daughter. Except in his case, everybody knew it was Henry's store. And they wanted Henry's to handle anything they needed to make sure the deliveries were there. So when we did use our name, I learned from my grandfather, and if I'm running the business, it's everything we got, and we're going to make sure it works right.
You started off with your father's business. In the early years, was there any concern that you weren't going about it the right way, or that you might negatively impact what your father had built up?
I don't think that really came into play that much. My father had the restaurant, and this was really an offshoot of the restaurant. It was actually a very nice cushion that we had in terms of a facility, that we didn't need to build a facility, but it wasn't long after that we started growth. And we started growing from the restaurant into the store next door was a butcher shop, and took over the beauty parlor, and eventually this was the first bread and circus building that is now our kitchens. And I don't think that came into play. We had wonderful support from the restaurant until we really stood on our own.
Restaurants, 9 out of 10 of them fail. Caterers, probably the same thing. How have you been able to stick around and do well for 30 years?
Every job gets 150%, not just 110%. We manage each job, whether I myself am at the job or one of our managers is at the job. They've been trained to try to think like I think, to look at all situations and figure out how to meet the customer's needs and go above their expectations, make it right, and there should never be the word no or we don't have it.
But that's a manager talking. How do you keep the staff calm and cool under pressure?
Well, good management, Greg, will do that. Good management will lead. Good management will not let a situation get out of control. There's always going to be challenges. We are not making widgets. We're not doing the same thing every day. Every day something new comes down the pike. Whether there's an ingredient shortage that you've planned for 3 months and all of a sudden there's a flood in Florida and there's no strawberries, or whatever it is, we have to find it. Whether we have to fly something in from California or from South America, we make it happen. And part of that culture that we've worked with the managers is to work with the staff, work with the team, and make sure they understand when a challenge arises, don't get nervous, don't show it, huddle in the back, stop and think, and we will find a solution to make it work.
How often do you have to jump in and do some of the cooking or preparation yourself?
I don't jump in the kitchen as much as I would like to. I do enjoy it. Every once in a while, whether it's the holidays, whether it's around the Rosh Hashanah holiday or Thanksgiving or just recently Passover, where we are so far above capacity that everybody, the office team joins in, I'm joining in, everybody, family members will come in. First of all, it's a wonderful thing for the team to see ownership participating, just to show that the office is not separate.
Over 30 years, I'm sure you've had some sleepless nights. What keeps you up at night and how do you persevere through it?
That's a great question, and if I told you I slept every night, my wife would be laughing at you right now, because don't be fooled by anybody. We'll sit here and tell you how business is great. We love what we do. But whether electricity is going to go out, whether a truck breaks down, whether staff can't make it to an event, yes, we are going to lose a little sleep. What gets you to sleep eventually is you know you've done the planning. You know everything is lined up. The backup systems are in place. The funny thing is after the events, you don't sleep either, because usually you feel so great afterwards. I can tell you personally, after large weekends or large conventions where you've gone for 2 days where the crew is running at 20 hours a day, and now we're done. The client's finished, the brunch was just served the next morning, everything is great. Now you try to calm down and relax, and then you're really laying awake at night because you've been so excited. And if you don't have that feeling, you shouldn't be in the business.
What do you foresee as your biggest challenge in the next 5 years?
Boston is a hotbed, almost an incubator, as they would say, for food and culinary creations. Being in the kosher market, there's only so many knishes and little hot dogs people want to serve at the party. Now, people do enjoy some of the traditional foods, and I can't even count how many matzah balls we just made for Passover. But we need to keep up with the latest food trends. Being a kosher caterer, there's challenges with that.
After 30 years, what's one thing you wish you could change about your business?
You know, Greg, after 30 years, things have been great. We've done a lot of blood and sweat building to this business. I would probably like to have gone back and had a little more business experience, maybe rely a little more on some business systems to put in place. I think after 30 years, I look back and I really enjoy the clientele. We've done a lot of life cycle events, whether we've gone from a circumcision party or a baby naming of a new baby to a bar mitzvah, to their wedding, to their children's birthday parties, circumcision. We've become part of countless families, unbelievable amount of friends in a small community like ours. So on that side, I can't think of anything I would do different. You know, at the end of the day, I think things have been great.
Andrew, thank you. Andrew Wiener, founder of Catering by Andrew here in Brookline, Massachusetts. On our next episode of The Language of Business, we'll literally go all over the world talking commerce to Asia, Europe, and the Middle East. I'm Greg Stoller, and thank you for watching The Language of Business.